And lo and behold, according to the feds, the Mississippi food plants were willfully employing illegal workers. I'll tell you something interesting. I got a message from someone who said that what these plants do when they hire illegal immigrants is they put them under one or few social security numbers. And it would be very easy to figure out that these companies are willfully employing illegal immigrants, skirting the law and just showing complete disdain for the low-skilled labor in this country. And it's just a corporate greed. Bernie Sanders was asked about open borders, and what did he say? He said something like, "Oh God, no, we can't open the borders. There are too many poor people." Bernie Sanders was asked in 2015 about open borders, and he said, "That's a Koch brothers proposal. So the big businesses that want to bring in cheap labor," that's what he said. They want open borders so they can set up factories in other countries, and they want open borders so they can bring in people who are willing to work for dirt. Because the truth is, without these illegal immigrants, these companies would have to hire Americans, and Americans are going to want much more money. That's too bad, isn't it? Cuts into your profits? Well, pay American and pay a decent wage. Doesn't that make sense for everybody? We can boost the business, encourage American businesses, and we can increase salaries and wages for the American citizens. Let's read the story from the New York Post. Federal authorities apparently had good reason for conducting one of the biggest immigration raids in a decade this past week. 6 of the 7 Mississippi food plants that got hit by ICE agents on Wednesday were, quote, willfully and unlawfully employing illegal aliens, with many working under false names and fake social security numbers, according to investigators. How is it not conspiracy? If the businesses are going to use fake information knowingly, how is that not a conspiracy to violate labor laws? You want to know why this is a serious issue and why it really annoys me that the left has abandoned this issue and why I supported Bernie when he talked about it before? This is an effort by big businesses to avoid having to pay the taxes and pay the benefits they are legally required to do. And this is why Bernie was right when he said, the open borders policy is a Koch brothers proposal. Think about it. You run a big industry. You want to hire people for the least amount of money possible? Don't do it in America. We got labor laws and standards and unions. So where is the left on this issue? Oh, they've abandoned it. And that's why the left is fractured. And that's what really, really bothers me about the whole immigration issue. So we can look at the Green New Deal. AFL-CIO, one of the largest, I believe the largest labor union in the country, opposed it. What about immigration? Well, the union should be right behind should be in opposition to the left, opposing all of this and supporting ICE for one simple reason, man. Unions are fighting to make sure that the workers are being taken care of. Now, I've got my beef with some of the unions I've been involved in, and I personally don't like being forced to join a union. But the core concept of what a union is to fight for workers' rights. That I understand, I'm fine with. I think collective bargaining gets that done. Unions are now tied up in laws. It's a whole debate. But here's the point. When these open borders activists, like the DSA, champion these causes, who benefits? Industrialists. These companies would love to put their chicken processing plant in Guatemala or Mexico, pay $1 an hour and no health care and no taxes. Too bad you can't. And now Trump is a problem for these industrialists. Trump is saying, no, we're going to have tariffs and we're going to renegotiate these trade agreements. And all of a sudden these big industries are now going like, oh no. We were hiring people for $5 an hour with no health care, and now we have to hire American. And Americans want more than that. And you got to pay for health care and taxes, employment insurance, and all that stuff. These companies love to bypass these rules. Given the opportunity, they do. And sure enough, what happens when the story breaks? Listen, man, I can sympathize with the kids who were left outside crying. We see all the left saying, oh, these children are crying, release their parents. No, hold on. The parents broke the law. The parents know they broke the law. I believe it is irresponsible of the parents, and I admit, I think we absolutely need to be concerned about these kids, and that should be our primary focus. We need to deal with these companies that are willfully employing illegal immigrants, violating the law, essentially bypassing the benefits that we provide as America through our legal system to workers. They're getting away with all of this, and what we need to do is we need to make sure that businesses are playing by the rules, so are the people who are working, and all that good stuff. But the left instead is saying, look, they're crying. They're crying, let the illegal immigrants go back to work. They're not doing anything wrong. Hold on. There's a union somewhere that fought long and hard to guarantee health care to their union members. All of a sudden now you get these plans that say, don't hire American. Do it illegally. They know it's illegal. It was willful. Why isn't the left coming out and say these corporatists, these industrialists, are trying to break the unions and bypass? They don't care. They don't care. They're going to show you a picture of a crying kid and try and use it to get you to vote for something that makes no sense. Look, when ICE conducts these raids, in my opinion, the first priority should be to make sure there's not going to be some kids stranded at a school, as apparently what happened. Now, they came out later and say they've taken care of the kids and they're now being accompanied by guardians and they're at shelters and things like that. And I can certainly sympathize with the kids. It's not their fault. It's their parents' fault for breaking the law, and it's the fault of these industries for incentivizing this behavior. These people wouldn't be here working if these businesses weren't breaking the law. Okay, here's what gets me so angry, and here's the main point. From NPR, chicken plants see little fallout from immigration raids. Isn't it their fault first and foremost? Am I going to blame the person who says, I want to come to America? I won't, for the most part. Now, hear me out. Of course people want to come to America. I've been around the world. America's awesome. I am not going to blame someone for wanting to be here. You break the law, that's your fault. You get deported. But they're being given the opportunity by these industries who know they're breaking the law and keep telling them, come on in. We'll give you an illegal job. This allows us to not have to pay benefits. It allows us to ignore union negotiations, and you can't do anything about it. And it's creating an underclass, and it's nightmarish. So look, I get people want to come here. We can't allow it. There's more than just this. Listen, what happens when these illegal immigrants are working in unsafe conditions, filthy conditions, and someone gets hurt? What is the company going to say? You can't do anything about it. There's no one you can complain to because you'll be deported. Why should we allow this to keep happening? Why are they facing little repercussion? Let's read, because maybe there's more to the story. They say, documents unsealed Friday by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Magnolia State Southern District outline how authorities worked with confidential informants over the span of a year to uncover the use of ineligible employees. Supervisors allegedly turned a blind eye to unlawful practices, such as hiring the same workers repeatedly under various names and not checking whether they had the proper paperwork. To add insult to injury, some of the plant owners were embezzling money by adding other fake names and social security numbers to their payroll and keeping the cash they purportedly made for themselves. An employee at one plant owned by PH Food told Homeland Security investigators that nearly all of its 240 workers in Morton, Mississippi, as well as some 80 employees at an A&B plant in Pelahatchie, had been hired illegally. Many of them were allegedly from Guatemala. Food Inc. and others are willfully and unlawfully employing illegal aliens in violation of federal law. The payroll companies, as well as PH Food Inc. and AB Inc., do not verify the authenticity of their documents, said one informant. So think about this, please, left. No, I'll say this, because I know the far left won't be listening, but in the chance that you are, do you like the idea of corporate millionaires and billionaires exploiting those who are most desperate, knowing they can do nothing about this? Even if you change the law today, these immigrants, these illegal immigrants, still can't do anything about this. Unless you go full open borders, the people who are here, no matter how light the punishment is, don't have legal recourse for complaining about these conditions because they're here working illegally. So hold on. You argue then, okay. Well, why don't we just make free movement between countries? And then people can work here if they want. Yeah, no problem. Because then the factory will say, hey, great, we're going to move 10 miles into Mexico and hire people there and still not pay benefits. You are creating a permanent underclass that serves the whims of the wealthy in this country. How is this not plainly visible? Long story short, are these companies going to be held accountable? Because it sounds like a conspiracy to me. What is that, RICO or something? Maybe not RICO. I have no idea. But I feel like something's got to be done. And I feel like, you had Obama deporting people. Now they're saying, stop. Listen, these people can't fight for their rights because there's a lot of laws restricting what they're doing. Even if we get rid of those laws and say you're free to work here, it just means these big companies can leave and go wherever they want. And there's got to be a lot of work done before we can actually solve this problem. But I'll tell you this right now. not stopping these businesses and acting like these people should be continued to be exploited by billionaires makes no sense. And that's the argument I'm seeing from the left. I'll leave it there. Point clear, right? Stick around. Next segment will be coming up 10 a.m. tomorrow. Podcast at 6:30 p.m. I'll see you all next time.